very much, sir, for affording me this opportunity to take part on the discussion on the motion of thanks to the presidential address. Sir, first of all, I would like to say that the normal convention of the presidential address is entirely different. That we all know that the presidential address is intended to describe or narrate the policies and program of the government for the ensuing year. That is the reason by which before commencing every session of the parliament in a calendar year, the president is having or given an authority or empowered to make an address before the joint session of the parliament. But it is quite unfortunate to state that the presidential address of 2021, if you examine it, is deeply disappointing because there is no such policy initiative is being mentioned in the presidential address. That is the first point which I would like to make. And what is stated in the 91 paragraphs of this presidential speech, if you examine the so-called achievements of the government during the last 6 years, is being explained, and that too against the contrary to the facts and ground realities. So it is mere claims of the achievements of the government during the last 6 years. That is also the repetition of all the 5 years which have been addressed by His Excellency the President of India. Sir, the address is totally silent about the explosive issue of unemployment. Nothing is mentioned about unemployment. And also economic recession. The country is facing such an acute economic recession, but there is nothing spelled out in the presidential address regarding the economic recession. External aggression by the neighboring countries affecting the territorial sovereignty of our country, because this external aggression even from the China and other neighboring countries, nothing is being mentioned in the presidential address. And also threat to the secular fabric of the country and the growing intolerance. These are the pertinent facts to be addressed by the Honorable President. But it is quite unfortunate to note that none of these pertinent issues concerning the country has not been mentioned in the presidential address. It is quite unfortunate. These are the issues to be highlighted because the presidential speech, the intention of the presidential speech is to make the state of affairs of the country in the particular year and what are the programs and policies to be pursued in the ensuing year. This is the purpose of the presidential address. Unfortunately, it is lost. Sir, I am confining my speech to two very important points. Number one is India's Democratic Norms Index. Sir, if you see that para 90 of the speech of the Honorable President, he speaks about 6 years of NDA government's performance with full commitment and honest intentions in 2014. And even Honorable Speaker may kindly see in the year 2019, the presidential speech has gone to the extent of saying, I quote, the foundation for nation building was laid in 2014, unquote. This was the observation made in the 2019 presidential speech. Sir, I would like to know, if you critically evaluate the 6 years of the performance of the NDA government, how the foundation was laid. Let us see or examine about the democratic norms. Sir, according to the Economic Intelligence Unit report, in democratic norms, India's global ranking in 2014 was 27th position. Sir, it has come down to 53rd position in 2020 as a result of democratic backsliding under the current regime of Sri Narendra Modi ji's government. Sir, India's democratic score fell from a peak of 7.92 in 2014 to 6.61 in 2020. This is the ranking score when the nation is celebrating its 70th year of democratic republic. That is to be taken note of. And further the report, that is the economic intelligence report further says that democratic backsliding by the authorities and crackdown of the civil liberties leads to a further decline in the global ranking in respect of the democratic norms of the country. This is the pathetic situation which is prevailing after 6 years of NDA government as far as the democratic norms are concerned. From 27th position, we have come to 53rd position. This is the democratic character and the fabric now country is being facing. Sir, I will cite two examples one each for the democratic backsliding and the crackdown in civil liberties. So the first one is regarding the democratic backsliding. Sir, you may see para 87 of the speech of the Honorable President. The Honorable President says that construction of Grand Ram Mandir has commenced after the Supreme Court judgment. Sir, you may kindly see the Supreme Court judgment is not in respect of construction of the Mandir alone. It is regarding the construction of Mandir as well as the mosque. But it is quite unfortunate to say, that nothing is mentioned regarding the construction of the mosque in the disputed site as per the Supreme Court judgment. The Supreme Court judgment is in respect of mosque as well as temple, but it is quite unfortunate, I repeat, that nothing is mentioned about the construction of mosque in the disputed site as directed by the Honorable Supreme Court. Only regarding the mention of the Ram temple is there. And the second one is regarding the crackdown of the civil liberties. So the living typical example is the farmers' agitation. Sir, this is the farmers' agitation which the country is facing is a national movement of the peasantry against the corporatization of agriculture. That is a strike agitation which is going on. Corporatization of the agriculture is taking place through the three bills. So this is the fight against the neoliberal economic policies benefiting the corporates and rich class. Sir, I myself and on behalf of my party, Revolutionary Socialist Party, declare our solidarity with the fighting farmers for their survival. And this agitation is a warning to the government in office against the repressive laws of the government. Sir, India's image, I'm coming to the last point, India's image in the international policy. Sir, if you examine, after 2014, India's image in international democratic policies diminished like anything. That is due to the main reason is repressive lawmaking by this government. Sir, Citizenship Amendment Act, repeal of Article 370 and the three farm laws, all these enunciation of the laws by the parliament or by the government has made wider criticism amongst the international fora, and the country is receiving big criticism from the international fora, especially from the intelligent class. Sir, yes, I do accept that the government is having absolute majority to rule the country, but it is numerical majority in parliament is not sufficient to have a good governance in the country. The government has to accept the popular sentiments of the people in this country. Sir, inclusive governance is the strength of democracy, wherever it may be. Inclusive democracy is must. That is the strength of the democracy. But I have to say that in this government, as far as NDA government is concerned, this inclusive governance is not there in the NDA performance or the NDA governance. Why? Because inclusive governance involves consultancy process. The government is not taking the opposition into confidence. The government is not taking the parliament into confidence. Even the government is not willing to discuss all these issues in a thread-by discussion. The government is not interested. So, sir, now the government is being guided and controlled by the political ego. What is the deadline? What is the deadblock, or what is the block in resolving the issue of the agitators? The government is ready and willing to freeze the law for 1.5 years. Then why don't the government can withdraw the bill? Why don't the government can repeal the bill? After repealing the bill, let the government come to the parliament and we will discuss the issues, the pros and cons of the agricultural reforms. Let us have a fresh law. Why? Because the government's political ego is dominating. Sir, I would like to caution the government, whenever in a democratic system of government, the political ego begins, that is the beginning of the slowing down, or that is the beginning of the downfall of the government. The agitation by the farmers is going to signal the beginning of the downfall of the government. I would like to caution the government. Sir, I am concluding. Sir, paragraph 24, 25 and 26 of the speech, that is regarding the farm bill. The Honorable President is saying that after extensive consultation, Parliament has approved 3 bills. Sir, what is the extensive consultation which we have done? Sir, you may kindly see that law has came into force on 5th June. On 5th June, the law came into force through the promulgation of the ordinances. No consultation was done. We have made the bill, we have made the law in the month of September. So without having any consultation, without having any negotiation. The ordinance, three ordinances were promulgated on 5th June 2020, and it just became a law. What was the consultation done? Nothing. And what was the emergency in promulgating these three ordinances? What was the exigency? Structural agricultural reforms without having any consultation by way of an executive legislation by the Honorable President under Article 123(1). Why the consultation? Nothing is being done. That is why the country is facing a big struggle. Even in independent India, the biggest movement of the peasantry we are seeing. So that, sir, we demanded for the reforms in the bill at the time of having the consultation discussion in the parliament. We have demanded for referring the bill to the parliamentary standing committee. The government was very adamant, and we have given notices of amendments for the bill. None of the amendments were accepted by the government. Everything was killed mercilessly. It was being killed. Now the government is coming to the farmers organizations, and the government is now saying that we are ready for amendments. Sir, yes, sir, concluding. Sir, now the government is saying that we are ready for having the amendments. Those amendments were rejected by this house at the instance of the government. Now the government is coming for amendments. It is quite unfortunate. That is why I am saying, sir, the parliament is not taking into confidence. Sir, I am concluding that. So I urge upon the government to resolve the issue. Please leave aside the political ego of the government. Please repeal all the three bills. Let us discuss threadbare of the agricultural reforms in the parliament. The parliament is the right forum to discuss the issue. Sir, I have given the privilege notice, and you have given me an opportunity to speak about that privilege motion also. Now the Supreme Court is handling everything. What is the right of Supreme Court in appointing a committee to look into the merits of the bill? So, sir, I appeal to the government, please withdraw all the bills, have a threadbare discussion in the parliament. If you want to have some agricultural reforms, after threadbare discussion in the parliament and with the farmers' organization, let us have the reforms. Otherwise, the country will be going to be in a big disaster. With these words, once again, I would like to say that it is quite disappointing, the presidential address. With these words, I conclude. Thank you very much, sir.
Shri Bhagwat Manji.